Hello and Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome back to the Gurren Otaku Council podcast. This is episode 71. As always, I'm your host Ace, that's McMillian, and today we got a good episode for you today. With the finale of the year, the final episode of the year, we got our hidden gems and our anime of the year for 2023. But of course, before we get into all that, if you'd like to join, be my friend McMillian here as we discuss all things anime and sometimes manga, then please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, as well as follow us on our social media so you can stay up to date on all things about the council. And with that being said, the council is now in session. Let the meeting begin. All right, everybody. Welcome back for the final episode of 2023 for the Gurren Otaku Council podcast. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody's chilling with family right now for the holidays. For those who don't observe Christmas and everything like that, I just hope, like I said, once again, I hope everybody's just spending time with family, eating good and just having a great time.
Yep.
How you doing today, McMillian?
I'm doing good, my friend. In the holiday season, just watched some Christmas movie yesterday.
Okay.
But it's Anime's Day. Let's get into it.
Of course. So as always, everybody, we're gonna hop into some council announcements, and I'll be handing it off to McMillian. Who's gonna give out today's agenda.
Yep. So for the agenda today, we are going through our hidden gems. This is gonna be like throughout the seasons of the year. So first, we're gonna hit you with like winter and spring, then summer and fall, and then we'll round it out with like what our personal picks are for what we believe anime of the year is. After that, we'll be hitting you with weekly recommendations. Weekly rec and not recommendations. And then lastly, we'll be giving you our review / discussion on JJK episode 46.
That is correct. So moving on from there, we do want to let everybody know that our last episode, our Dead Mount Death Play second core review is out now on your favorite audio platform as well as YouTube. So go and check that out. And of course, our regular discussion on JJK is a part of that episode as well, because like we mentioned, that is the feature episode for the not feature episode, that is the feature anime for the podcast right now currently. But we only got one more episode of JJK, so that's almost done here.
Yeah.
Next up, we do want to let you guys know for next week. Next week's episode will be our winter 2024 watch list. So we'll be discussing the shows we're going to be checking out for the winter 2024 season. And then last but not least, we do want to remind everybody that we are still on our road to 100. So if you're liking the content, then please hit that like and subscribe button. It'll support us out a lot. And of course, once again, I do want to thank everybody that been rocking with the council for all of 2023. Here's the 2024. We definitely got a lot of stuff planned for 2024. Of course, want to keep evolving the podcast, as we go along here. Got to keep things fresh. But yes, once again, definitely want to thank everybody that's been listening to us, no matter where you joined us throughout the year.
Yep. If you're a long-time fan, new fan, or just stopping by, we appreciate all the support. So thank you.
But all right, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the discussion. Our hidden gems of the year. Want to start us off with winter?
Yep. So my winter pick, I think it did get, at the end of the season, it did get a little bit more recognition. But for me, my winter pick, it's the Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady. Long title, I know. It's an isekai, everybody. And I just want to say about the show. So if you haven't heard of the show, I'm just going to read a brief synopsis. Despite her supposed ineptitude with regular magic, Princess and Nishfia defies the aristocracy's expectations by developing magicology, a unique magical theory based on memories from her past life. One day she witnesses a brilliant noblewoman, Euphilia, unjustly stripped of her title as the kingdom's next monarch. That's when Anisphia concocts a plan to help Euphilia regain her good name. Little do these two ladies know, however, that their chance encounter will alter not only their own features, but those of the kingdoms and the entire world. This is so far it only has one season, 24 episode anime, that, started off, I think, as like your normal isekai type trope, reborn to a magical world, has major interest in that. But the twist is our main character has no magical aptitude, but due to their knowledge of machinery and technology and gaining the knowledge of magic in this world, they've developed something called magicology, which is like magitech basically. And from there, they go on like adventures. Her and this other girl go on adventures, and they slowly start to fall in love. So there's a little bit of romance in there as well. But it's a really good story. Um, great animation, and wonderful premise. So if you're into like fantasy and stuff like that, I definitely highly recommend this one. I feel like it deserves a lot more attention than it got during the season it came out. So please go ahead and like, if you're looking for something to watch out of after you get done with everything and the next year's season hasn't started, I definitely recommend checking this out.
Wow, that's crazy. You also had an isekai for your hidden gem for this for this season. Oh yeah, so my hidden gem for 1 to 23 is also another isekai, but a different one. Handyman Saito, in another world. So I am gonna also read this brief synopsis here real quick. Despite being a handyman with a wide range of skills, Saito is severely undervalued and underpaid. When he complains, his boss fires him, claiming that he is easily replaceable. And if his luck was not bad enough, Saito soon finds himself about to be run over by good old Truck Kun on his way home. Classic Trocoon. But yeah, Handyman Saito for me. Now, so this was really the show, definitely very early on in the year, that definitely caught my eye and just caught me off guard, because it's also one of those shows I probably would have never watched if I wasn't doing this podcast here. But Handyman Saito was such a good show. What I like to call it is basically like an anime version of Robot Chicken. So essentially, like, it's like all these different little stories kind of going on together while the main story is, well, side stories going on together while the main story is still going on as well. And then like they have these like, little cutaway gags doing stuff that's going on. Basically, like how like Robot Chicken would do. So it's basically, it's a comedy, isekai shonen, but it also does have some elements of action in there as well. But no, it was just a great time and a wonderful surprise. So if you know, once again, if you're looking for another isekai to get into, I would definitely recommend 100% Handyman Saito in another world.
And I can second that. Handyman Saito is also another thing I considered putting down here for in Gym. It's a really fun watch. Like Ace said, I don't know if I would have checked it out if not for the podcast. Kind of the same thing with the Magical Revolution. But I definitely recommend checking out Handyman Saito, especially if you're into like, if you want something that's really easy digestible, because like you said, like the episode is kind of broken up into like a main adventure, and then you get like some side gags here and there, and it's very entertaining, very fun watch.
Yep. But all right, you want to start us off with spring now? And I think we actually got the same pick for spring.
Yeah. So do you want me to go first for spring?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we kind of have the same pick. This one is Dead Mountain Death Play, and I know some of you are like, "Wait, you guys talked about this on the podcast?" We did, but
we did.
I think both of us felt that this anime didn't get as much recognition as it deserves. It's a little bit more popular now with its second core, but when it rolled around, I think it kind of flew under the radar. Which I think, justly saying, spring had a lot of great shows. You had Demon Slayer.
Heavenly Delusional,
Oshinoko,
Hell's Paradise. It was a lot of good stuff going on this spring.
Yeah, so it's understandable, but brief synopsis. Dead Mountain Death Play is about a necromancer in a distant era who reincarnates himself into a young boy in modern Tokyo, but he gets caught up in a mystery about the boy and his own past. So basically, Dead Mountain Death Play is a wild story. It starts off basically with a reverse isekai. I know you're probably tired of us saying the word isekai, but that is the flavor, I feel like, of the year for 2023. A lot was a lot of isekais. And this one just caught me by surprise, because I was just like, oh, a reverse one. Let's see what this is going on. And it's very interesting with all the mystery elements at play. It has a decent amount of action, but I think where it really shines is its story. It's very unique in how it like tells itself, and the characters and all their interactions. It's very much a woven story, and it's a really cool thing to like get into and watch. So I, definitely check this one out if you haven't.
Correct. And then I do want to touch upon the point that you just made there. Like you said, the year of the isekais. 2023 had a slew of isekais, and of course you got some of those generic ones, but there was a few out there that I think that really changed the formula for how we expect isekais to be. especially
Hmm.
Bashuko Tensei later on throughout the year. But I really think throughout this year, isekai's definitely evolved a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you.
100%. But like I stated earlier, my my spring is also Dead My Death Play. Another show I probably have not watched if it wasn't for the podcast. We both me and McMillian, we're just going through the spring shows and stuff. We was like, no, this seems interesting. And then, like you mentioned earlier, that first episode was just so fantastic, and it just flips everything on its head. It was like, okay, it's a reverse isekai and a murder mystery, but like, what's going on
Hmm.
here? But yeah, so I don't want to get too deep into it because, like he mentioned, we did talk about it last episode. So if you want to hear more of our deeper thoughts on this, at least on the second core, you can go and listen to that last episode. We also do have an episode on the first core. You have to
Hmm.
just go back and find it if you do want to also listen in on what we thought about the first core as well for Dead My Death
Yep.
Play. But moving on from there, we're gonna head on to summer 2023 now.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna go first on this one. Yeah, so
All
my
right.
summer 2023 pick, and I will give a brief warning. I did not get to finish this. By finish, I mean I just didn't get to watch the second core. I did watch the first core, but my hidden gem for summer 2023 is Undead Girl Murder Farce. And I'm gonna quickly read this synopsis. In the 19th century, the wife of a vampire noble is murdered in her own home, with the local human authorities unwilling to properly investigate the case. Goddard, which is the husband, or the one of the noble vampires, hires a pair of private detectives known to specialize in the supernatural. Those detectives so happen to be our main characters, a man named Suguru and a young woman named Aya. And Aya is a undead immortal who's basically just she's had her head cut off, taken from her body, and she's
Hmm.
traveling around with our other main character, what was his name I just mentioned?
Suguru.
Suguru. Yeah, there we go. She's traveling around with Suguru, who's basically become her apprentice now and solving murder cases essentially. And it's also it's an action shonen as well. So it's like action shonen mixed with a murder mystery. It's actually kind of cool. But what I consider, no, I don't think this is isekai. I was about to say what I consider this isekai. No, it's not an isekai. As far as I'm aware of, because no, nobody gets rebirthed into another world, nothing like that. I'm pretty sure it's just a fantasy world filled with vampires and monsters and stuff like that. And it's a really good time. There's also a depiction of Sherlock Holmes in this show as well. So she gets to meet Sherlock Holmes and like try and do win a solve a murder mystery before he does as well. It's a really fun
Oh,
time.
yeah, that sounds interesting. What was I about to say? Oh, so for this one, Under a Girl Murder Farce, I did end up checking it out. I think a little while ago, and I did like it. I definitely see why you would like put this as a hidden gem because it kind of flew under the radar. It is good. I do plan on like going back and finishing it. But it's very interesting. Like I said, like the whole what is I want to say folklore aspect of it. It really adds, I think, like a level of detail to the mystery and the
Correct.
themes it presents.
And then also before I do forget, I will say the main plot or the main story is Aya is trying to find the person who took her body from her. She wants her body
I was,
back.
yeah, I was trying to remember what like started the whole thing in motion, and it was the fact that this girl is just kind of a Doulahan now. So,
Essentially, yeah. So
Mhm.
she want her get back, and she got to solve cases to kind of as she's solving these other murder mysteries. She's also unveiling the mystery behind like who took her body and all that stuff as well. It's really good watch.
Cool, cool, cool.
A lot of my hidden gems were murder mysteries. It was the year of the murder mysteries as well.
You know what? I guess that's fair because Death Note was here throughout the year. So yeah.
And then
Um,
Oshino
my,
Ko also came on as
yep,
well.
which is also a isekai murder. Wow. All right. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. I didn't even I didn't even draw the line. Um, okay, but for my summer pick, I went with a show on High Dive called Dark Gathering.
Okay.
Brief synopsis: it's about so basically, Dark Gathering is a horror anime. Um, Genuinely, I don't find what I want to say most horror shows to be that like kind of scary or jarring. This one, I think the way it's animated and like the way the story is presented actually does hit some of the notes you look for in horror. So if you're get scared easily, maybe this isn't for you, but I will read a brief synopsis to describe the show. Uh, Dark Gathering is about Keitaro Gintoga, who takes a part-time job tutoring the child prodigy Yaoi Hozuki. Little does he know, she's a gifted medium hell bent on finding the spirit behind her mother's vanishing, and she's gravely determined to drag Keitaro into it. This show is a wild ride because so one of the characters carried Keitaro. Actually, something that the synopsis doesn't mention. He's for some reason spirits are drawn to him. He is easily haunted, and even though he doesn't believe it, he tries not to believe in the supernatural to kind of like cope with the fact like weird stuff keeps happening to him.
Okay.
And the girl, Yaoi, whose mother was spirited away, I guess you could actually like literally, um, has the ability to see spirits where Keitaro does. He just knows that weird stuff keeps happening to him, and people keep telling he's haunted, but he doesn't like really believe it. She can actually see it, so while her sister and him are classmates, and basically her older sister drags him into being her tutor, and then from there she's like, "Oh, cool, I can use you as bait." Basically, that's like the whole series, and it's while there are like funny moments and stuff like that, there's actually like generally when they like get into hunting down ghosts, I am like
hmm
surprised by the themes they touch upon and other things like that. It is a really entertaining, interesting watch that'll have you on the edge of your seat a lot of the times. So
Okay, I might have checked this one out because I know I saw the trailer for this one when this show was first starting to air, and I was like, oh, I might definitely have to check that one out, but I never was able to get around to it. So I'm glad you was able to get to it, and you're vouching for it here. So yeah, I'll definitely have to check that one out.
yeah, it's kind of like yours. I haven't fully completed it because, like I said, there's been a lot of great shows this year. I feel like,
A lot of great
um,
shows this year.
but I've watched the majority of it. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing, so I really want like other people to like check it out, see it for themselves, because I really do think like this was something that flew under the radar, which directly so. As we got like closer to the end of the year, a lot of good shows started coming out of the woodwork. So
All right, and then last but not least, the winter, not winter, the what is this fall
fall.
2023? Our last pick for of the year. Who would have guessed another isekai coming from Ace over here? But for me, this was probably the best isekai out of the year. Shangri-La Frontier. Definitely for me, in my opinion, is hands down the best isekai of the out of the year. Argue with your mama, not me. All right. So, um, so the synopsis of this story is our main character who is a high school student, Rakuo Hitazomi. He is famously known for having a hobby for playing poorly made bad video games, ones that are unbalanced or filled with so many bugs that make them borderline unplayable. The few who share his hobby might recognize him by his in-game name Suraka. For his next game, Suraka is recommended Shangri-La Frontier, which is a god tier video game, essentially a triple A game in the real world, if you'll think about it like that, right?
hmm
Once he boots up the game, Suraka decides to sell off most of his starting gear because he likes challenges. So you'll come to find out very quick about Suraka. So he sells off all his starter gear, a lot of his weapons and stuff like that. And he's essentially naked, basically running around in his MMO. And the only thing
hmm
he has is this little bird head that he's using for gear. However, after encountering some intimidating monsters, he quickly realizes that he may underestimate the challenge that a mainstream game can offer. As Suraka progresses through Shangri-La Frontier, he must draw on his skills as he perfects his previous game experience. Before long, Suraka is essentially taking Shangri-La Frontier by storm, which is he is. A lot of
Yeah.
everybody's in the game versus just like who is this character because he's going and doing so many different things. So I guess let me get into my reason why I think Shangri-La Frontier was the best isekai. One, because I think Shangri-La Frontier is the next big MMO isekai. Like it was SAO, and SAO could have been great. And I'm still in the boat. SAO could have been an all time great anime just in general if we just would have stuck with the regular season one premise. But enough of that. But Shangri-La Frontier is I don't know who this author is. I definitely need to go look this up. But whoever this author is, they are doing such a good job of I'm gonna say it plainly, just like this. They are building a great MMO world and just letting our character go through it and experience it. Like, it's so fantastic, and there's so many like drawbacks that you can see that's in the show that relates to in real life gaming and stuff like that. It's like, okay, like, yeah, stuff like that is in video games all the time. Something like that would be cool, or something like that would be cool to see in a video game. Or you can just recall back to situations where you've been playing a game similar to like this. It's just such good, and it is a lot of just the good classical anime tropes as well. It does that good as well. It's a really good time. You have not yet checked out Shangri-La Frontier, especially if you do like action. Hey, here it is. Check it out.
Yeah, no, I can only echo Ace's sentiments. Shangri-La Frontier has been a great ride. It's taken, like, I feel like the lessons of other MMO or like game isekais and perfected them. If I do say so myself, and I think one of just like the biggest selling points of Shangri-La Frontier is, as they said, it just feels like a video game. Like, it doesn't feel like it's out of place or like touch, or that they're trying to sell you something that couldn't be. I think we talked about it this season, like how in one of the episodes, the main character encounters a boss who has a move that is legitimately just throwing you up in the air and letting you try and die to fall damage. And I was like, if that's not the most sadistic video game shit ever, I don't know what is. It really hits, I think, all the notes. And if you're a fan of anime, and if you're a fan of video games, highly recommend this one. Like I said, the only thing I think that makes this like a hidden gem is so many good animes are happening in the current season, especially with JJK being like the star. That this I don't think this is talked enough about. Sebastian, okay?
Yeah, he's okay. He's just over there scratching himself. What is he doing back there? But yeah, like I said, Shangri-La Frontier, and it was. I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all a little brief sneak peek. Shangri-La Frontier was damn near my anime of the year. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all that now. Like, that's how much I've been enjoying Shangri-La Frontier. It almost crept up into my anime of the year.
It's really good. So for my summer pick, granted I'm not fully caught up with this, but I would. This is something that I'm like checking. This is an anime I check in on periodically when I feel like I have the time. Is Ragnar Crimson. Uh, so brief synopsis of Ragnar Crimson. In a world where dragons rule sky, sea, and land, those who would fight them and win must surpass the limits of normal human strength. Set on victory at any cost, Dragon Hunter Ragnar joins forces with the mysterious Crimson. Crimson's motivations may be obscure, but their goal is the same: to destroy the Dragon Monarchs. So, something that I think the synopsis does not tell you, and this is somewhat of a spoiler, but Ragnar Crimson is basically focused on the main character Ragnar, who, just like it says, has a goal of destroying all the Dragon Monarchs, because the dragons are basically like rulers of the world. Humans are inconsequential. They eat them for food or kill them just for fun, honestly. And something that happens in the show is that they basically tell you, like, there are very few dragon hunters, just because obviously dragons are so strong. Like, it's really hard for a normal person to even achieve the ability to kill one. Ragnar becomes one of the world's greatest dragon hunters because in he's already technically lived his life. So in the future, he ends up destroying all the dragon monarchs, but the world he lives in is ruined.
Oh
So
my.
the future him sends back his memories to the
Mm-hmm.
past him and be like, hey, while I was able to achieve our goal, I did
Mm-hmm.
it too late. Basically, like, the world was just
It was
terrible.
still, yeah,
Yeah.
it was
So
too
he
much destruction. I couldn't save the world. Like, I achieved my
yeah.
goal, but ultimately I really achieve my goal?
Yeah, so he sent his memories. He basically sent his memories back and was like, oh, "Look,
Oh,
I'm
that's
sending my memories
cool.
and and he sent his memories and his skill, and he was like, "Look, I had one ally
That's
on this
cool as
journey.
fuck.
Yeah, I had one ally on this
Kind of,
journey.
kind of a little
Go
bit a
find
la
them."
Vivi there, a little bit.
Yes, very much so. Just with fantasy instead of like sci-fi this time. And the one ally he had was Crimson, who himself is a dragon monarch who hates all the other dragon monarchs.
Okay.
So that's like the premise or setup, and I think it's really strong. The action in it's really cool. The power, it doesn't have like, I want to say like the most dynamic power system, but it's
Hmm.
interesting. And I'm a sucker, like I said before, I'm a sucker for fantasy, and this is just
Same.
really good. It's just really good fantasy. So this is another high dive show. So
Okay.
I do recommend, like, there's some really good shows on high dive. Period. I mean,
Yeah, no, Hot
Oshinoko,
Dog been popping off
but
this year as well. They stepped out onto
hmm
the scene.
yeah, but this was one I feel like I could have also talked about Shangri-La Frontier, but I really felt like this deserves more eyes on it currently. Like I said, I'm not like the most caught up with it, but it's a
Hmm.
fun watch. It's a really good action, and obviously, I don't know if the premise I just told you didn't get you hooked, I don't know what will, because it's just really interesting. I think, like, for a person to be like, "Hey, I couldn't save the world. I'm gonna send my memories and abilities back to the past, and hopefully
Yeah.
we have a chance to get this right." I think that's
Yeah.
just a really cool premise.
Yeah, no, when you said that, the first thing I thought of was Vivi, and I was like, yeah, no, I definitely got to check this one out now. It sounds like a great time.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep,
all
yep.
right, yeah, that is our hidden gems of the year. Now, just quickly run through them again. For me, my hidden gems of the year were Handyman Saito from Another World, Dead Mount Death Play, Shangri-La Frontier, and Undead Girl Murder Farce.
Okay. And then for me, I'm not going to say my Winter Pick's full name, but the Magi Revo, which is what people call it for short. Dead Mount Death Play for spring. My summer pick was Dark Gathering, and my fall pick is Ragnar Crimson.
All right. And then all we got left is to give out our anime of the year. But before we give out our anime of the year, we do want to give out this week's weekly recommendation. Take it away, McMillian.
Yep. So for this week's weekly recommendation, I know I've been given like not old stuff, but like early 2000s stuff. This is another early 2000s, but also to match the theme of the episode, I wanted to give a hidden gem, something I feel like flew under the radar. So this is an old like Funimation anime called Black Blood Brothers. Um, the premise or synopsis of the show is remnants of a vampire clan that wanted to rule the world alone, but got defeated in a war by joined forces of other vampires and humans, kidnapped the brother of a vampire war veteran. He and basically he looks for his brother um in a in this secret vampire city. Uh this show has one season, only about 12 episodes. It's not like the greatest thing ever, but it was I remember like when I was watching it, it was a really fun show, really great premise with really good characters. So like I said, it's a 12 episode watch, so you can legit sit like maybe an afternoon and finish it, but you will enjoy yourself. It's especially if you like the darker fantasy side of stuff. The what I would compare it to now would be like similar to Case Study of Vanitas. Not as It's not as good as Case Study, but it hits like a lot of the same notes. Like you got the secret vampire, you got the secret occult world, vampires, werewolves, stuff like that, and then how all those things intermingle on top of a mystery layer, because again, like I said, the main character is looking for his little brother who was kidnapped by this like powerful vampire kind of like mafia family. So
Okay.
it was great, really good fun time.
Sounds like a good watch. Once again, this week's recommendation is Black Blood Brothers. And now we're gonna be talking about our anime of the year for 2023. And boy, so for me, ultimately, it boiled down to two animes. And even as I'm sitting here discussing it with you guys, I'm still not exactly sure which one I will give it over another, because I enjoy both immensely for two different reasons. And okay, so I'll let you start off. You want to give your anime of the year?
So well, I'm not gonna like. I agree with Ace. Technically, if he tells you what his other one was, I also agree. Like I did debate about putting this one, but simply because of how much this anime has done this season, I had to give it to it. Obviously, I just said season, so maybe give it away. But for me, anime of the year goes to JJK season 2. It from start to finish has been a great ride. Like from the hidden inventory arc, even to Shibuya Incident, like this is what I really like about being part of like the anime community or fandom,
Mm-hmm.
because when a show is like on high
Mm-hmm.
it is shifted into high gear. You every week there's a there's a meme, there's a theory or debates or like, man, that last episode setup was great, but next episode, like, it hit. I feel like all the things that like people love about watching shows, like anime in general. Granted, I'm not trying to be a shonen junkie, but I just
Mm-hmm.
really think JJK season 2 set up like such a good precedent for itself.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting storylines, expanded so much on its world, like, and it's not even done. Like we just like we're one episode away from it being finished, but it has done so much already, not only for its like itself, but like just I think in terms of like just standard anime stuff has just been really good. And that and then that's just story wise, like the animation
Yeah.
of it alone jumps crazy heights this season. Like, you know, like last year I think it was nominated for like best anime fight scene, and it had one. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if like Crunchyroll came out, it was like best anime fight, and it was nothing but JJK.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Like the animations have been crazy this year for that show. I just feel like
Even
I gotta
though
give it to it.
even though if they do best fights this year again, definitely Luffy versus Kaido at least better be in there for a nomination, because that shit went dumb.
I have no doubt. As a person who's seen clips from it, I agree. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
if every other thing besides that was JJK,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even question it.
No, 100%. And you know what? After listening to you, go over it, all your reasons for it, I'm gonna just go ahead and tell everybody. So the two shows I was debating between was JJK season 2 and Fearing's Beyond Journey's End. And I think I'm just going ahead. I'm gonna have to give it to JJK. I think I got to give it to JJK because, like, as you mentioned, just from beginning to end, starting from him hitting inventory arc, even to where we're at now, they have just done so much. And just me, I think really JJK season 2, it revitalized and almost damn near changed the way we look at new gen animes right now to a certain extent. Like these Mappa animators, they did a phenomenal job with this season and the handling of just all the different fights and all that. But just even overall, forget the fights for a minute. The fact that we're actually getting deaths, and not just like little small deaths, like we're getting big deaths throughout this season. Then like one major thing that McMillian touched upon that I really liked about it was one of the main core of the big three is essentially, well, we don't know if she's truly dead just yet, but as far as we know right now, she's dead. Nobara. When was the last time you saw somebody from the main big three of the cast of a shonen get killed off? Please tell me when was the last time you seen that?
And if it has, I struggle to remember one. One, I struggle to remember one where that happened, but two is also like this early.
Yes.
Like, it's only JJK is only in its second season, and already we have lost a prominent member of the main of the titular three. That's to me, that's unheard of.
Exactly, like just stuff we normally don't see in shonen is we got to see it in JJK season 2. It's just like I said earlier, just from beginning to end, it has been a phenomenal job. As well as from me, like this was my most anticipated show of the year simply because I saw the potential that JJK had from season 1. And I was like, like I see where people are like where they could be hyped about it and stuff like that. But like season 1 for me, like I still wasn't really a truly believer just yet. But season 2, they made me a believer. They made me a believer. They did everything what I wanted from them out of season 2, which was really just mainly more world building, but mainly just tell me how the fuck your power system works. I have no idea what is going on. And even still to a certain extent, it's still confusing, but we definitely got way more explanation to how curse energy and stuff works in this season 2. So to give you just a better, broad, more understanding of the power system in the world itself. So I was like, okay, you know what? I give it to them, but even though it is still confusing, like they're still trying to explain it. They're giving us more. They're expanding upon it, like all the different ways, different types of domains. We can have now. They showed us the different types of ways to combat a domain expansion. For example, it's just they season 2 did a fantastic job.
Yes, Like you said, like they're expanding on it slowly but surely, and it's been great. It has been great. Even though we haven't hit this last episode, I honestly don't think I highly doubt that like even the last episode will do something that's like gonna change my mind. JJK season 2 has been an amazing ride. I honestly don't know. Yeah, I was like, man, as much as I really like Furin because it came out of nowhere and did a lot of great things, I really have to give it to JJK. Like they really upped the game. I feel like this year.
Like these animators pulled off a few shots I ain't seen in a minute. This was a few disrespectful shots too. A notable one is the Nobara looking
eye
through
socket?
Itabori through the eye socket bullshit. As much as I didn't like it, because why would you disrespect my girl like that?
Why would you disrespect this
fucking peak storytelling on the opposite end though? So,
man, like the way it just hit home. What happened? Like that was disgusting, but amazing. So disrespectful.
All those little small gags with Toto throughout his face. Beautiful. Even though it did like McMillian said, just every week there's different things to talk about the show. Like, so for example, like the controversy that happened with with specials being played at the end of that one episode after Sukuna wiped out the whole city and Itadori had his whole breakdown and everything. The whole conversation around that. It's just like there was nothing that was as talked about as hype this year, unfortunately, as JJK season 2. It just is what it is. JJK season 2, in my opinion, is the anime of the year.
Yeah. Yep.
But now, if you want to hear my biased opinion, it's One Piece. But you didn't hear that from me though.
You knew Ace was coming with that One Piece love, so don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
But you didn't hear that from me though.
Yeah, you didn't hear that from him. But you might be wondering, I asked yourself, how we keep up with all these animes, like through binge watching and catching up with stuff. And it's energy, basically. And if you want to make sure you have the energy to watch all these animes throughout the year and keep up with all of them, we highly recommend this episode sponsors Magic Mind. Like we have stated before, it's a great alternative energy drink / shot, I should say. Really tasty juice that'll keep you up and alert throughout your day. So if you want, you as an anime fan, I'm pretty sure have a lot of different hobbies, but I'm pretty sure you want to catch up with the season, especially during this downtime and break. We highly would recommend to accompany your binge watches with Magic Mind because it'll keep you up and alert without all the bad side effects, such as like with things like coffee or energy drinks.
Correct. And if you go to their website using our link, magicmind.com/Gurren Otaku Council, and using our code Gurren20, you can get up to 50% off your first subscription or 20% off your first time purchase as well. And we do want to let everybody know that starting in January that you will be able to find Magic Mind in all Sprouts farmers markets near you. So thank you to Magic Mind for sponsoring today's episode.
Yep. Appreciate you guys. Now, with that being said, let's get into JJK episode 46. Metamorphosis part 2. And as
one more, we got one left, right? We got one left, right?
We got one left. We got one left. We do.
Yeah, we got one left.
Yeah, we do have one episode left. But I do want to point this out. Ace texted me after watching this episode. The lore. The lore that was dropped this episode. Man. Now, granted, we knew Geto was not, himself, but we did not know that this man had been around for potentially centuries.
Yes.
Full attention.
So, and we're just gonna hop straight into it. So the main big reveal for this episode, what McMillian just stated, we finally got to, or at least who one of the persons was that Geto has been personated. I guess we don't know if this is his true real name or this is just one of the names he used at the time. Well,
he did. I was about to say before, I was going to let you say the name, but he did say after like people freaked out about it, he was like, "Oh, that was one of the names I've had throughout history."
Oh, okay. Well, as McMillian just said, this was only one of the names that he has had out through history, but this is the name that our main, set of sorceress cast know him by as Norotashi Kamo.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this man? Don't know, but apparently he was a strong sorcerer back in the day that had a curse technique that allowed him to swap bodies. Crazy. I mean, we figured that was his technique, but
did they say his technique was swapping bodies? Because I thought,
yeah, because the shadow style guy he mentioned it.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, if they also pointed out that Narutoshi Kamo was a prominent member of I think it's Kamo clan, because old boy with the arrows who also has blood manipulation curse technique, he mentioned how they mentioned how he's considered the most evil sorcerer in history, like because he did experimentation, and that like goes back to season 1 with the what do they call it? The cursed womb children?
Yeah.
Basically Choso's brothers.
Yes.
And
that right there. Now this gets to my next point I want to make, and also kind of linking back to why I think is one of my anime years and the stuff like we haven't seen before on a lot, right? The potential right now that Kamui is Itadori's dad is wild to think about right now.
Well, and so it's because it's crazy because it's like I don't think because they've only shown his grandparent, so like
we know nothing about their parents. We know nothing about his parents. I meant.
Yeah, and this is why I was like, man, this really solidified. Like I mentioned back before, I was like, one thing that may be the reason why Itadori is so strong, even for like a normal human, and why he's able to be such a good jujutsu sorcerer, by only being able to left, right, good night. It could be because he's part curse, and now with Choso, how Choso mentioned one of his powers being that he's so good with like the blood manipulation thing, he can sense.
And the smallest changes that happened with his relatives, right? And so he was basically that he goes to say, that whole breakdown that we saw at the Itadori versus Choso fight, when he was about to finish him off, essentially, he basically said, he felt Itadori dying in that moment, which was essentially let him know like he was related to Itadori. And then, we get to this episode, but we didn't know that at the time, of course. But we get to this episode now, we found out there's this man that's been living for over a century, at least definitely for over a century, just going through time and impregnating people, doing God knows what as well, impregnating experiments, not just, oh, I'm just, this is my wife, this is the one I found for the time. Let me just, we just had kids. No, this man is out here doing experiments. Right. And so you come to find that out, and then he was like, well, damn. So he might potentially, he's his son. And if he's saying, well, his dad, if Choso's saying that Ichidori is his brother, and now that we know this guy have lived for years, there's no telling if this guy might actually be Itadori's dad. Because once again, as we stated before, we have no information at all on Itadori's parents.
Yep. And so like this reveal just really opens up the door to like, well, what it could Itadori be another like cursed child experiment. Granted, we don't know. Like Choso had mentioned, there were 3 people that took part in like his conception, which was Norotoshi, a cursed spirit, and his mother. We don't know if that's the same case for Itadori. It could just it could be something different. But at least we do know now that there is a slight explanation for Itadori's unusual physique, and it's the fact that like a who knows how long old sorcerer potentially took over one of his parents. Took over one of his parents' bodies and had either experimented on them.
I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah, because like, what if the guy, I didn't even think about it like that. What if Kamo actually took over Itadori's dead body? Like you said, that way. It could have happened that way instead of him just, meeting Itadori's mom in some crazy circumstance by however means. It could have happened that way. We don't know how it theoretically happened at all as well. I didn't even think about that. Wow, because now he's like your dad in 2 different ways. I'm your daddy, but I'm not your daddy.
Yeah, for anyone who may. The way I thought about it was for anyone who may have seen like the old Batman Beyond series, there's a whole like storyline of basically like the main character being Bruce's kid, but also like his own dad's kid because they mixed like his DNA with the character. So I was like, man, I don't think it's like that just like that. But the fact remains, like, this guy's jumping bodies. He could have at some point jumped into one of Itadori's parents' like bodies and had a kid as like a
Mhm.
further way of his experimentation or something. Like, we don't,
We just don't
that
know.
was. hmm
We
So
also And now I also want to make this point because Urame also, pulled up in this episode and he started protecting Kamui slash, the fake ghetto. So we don't know if what type of connection he may or may not have with Sukuna or not.
yeah, and
Um, mhm.
something that I thought that was interesting was like, because we know Urume is only here, like, seems to be only here for Sukuna, like
Correct.
that seems to be like their only thing. So I'm wondering, because if you go back, the first time we see Urume is actually, like, I think in one of the episodes where, like,
After Gojo versus not Gojo, Jogo versus Sukuna is what we see
well,
Urame for the first
well, for
time.
the first, actually, no, that's not true.
It's
So
not?
someone, yeah, so in the first season, they don't talk, but we do see them with the other curse spirits and Ghetto.
Hmm.
Um,
When?
where is it? On a beach, I think, or something. Like, when, one of those
Oh, you
episodes where
talking
they were
about
like
like when
just
they was
chilling.
like, oh, when they was just chilling like in one of those beat scenes, like he was actually
Yeah,
there. That's
yeah,
crazy.
there was a screenshot or
He was
like a
probably
manga
like
panel
not
that someone
fully
saw.
fully visible, but like you could probably like see a little bit of him, something like
hmm
that.
Yeah,
That's
they weren't
crazy.
Urume wasn't talking or anything like that. So I was
Yeah.
wondering, maybe whoever the sorcerer is that's currently inhabiting Ghetto, maybe they have some type of deal that involves
Deal to
bringing
go on to
Sukuna back.
resurrect Sukuna, maybe.
hmm
Yeah.
Something like that. Because I was like, why would Urume out of nowhere just come out and protect this person
Yeah.
if that's not the case?
If they
Because he's
didn't have
already,
some if that's some, yeah, not the case. Yeah, because
yeah, because
that might be the
he's
case because like I said, we once again we don't know what the fake Ghetto's true or now or Kama. We don't know what his true goal is just yet. Still, even now, we still don't know what his
hmm
true goal is. We know all we knew is just he needed Gojo out the way. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and he even said to, what was it, Mahito and them, he said, well, now that Gojo's gone, I really don't care if Sukuna gets involved, because that, like, his original plan was like to use Sukuna to take out Geto, but he was like, hey, this
To
worked.
take out Gojo, yeah, this worked. Yeah, his original plan was just using Sukuna to take out Gojo. Like you said, that was
hmm
his whole plan. To do whatever the hell Komo wanted to do. He don't care how he needed to get done. He just needed Gojo gone, which is
Gone.
still
Yeah.
which is lets you know he has some big plans going on. I'm still in the realm of I think it has something to do with Tengen Sama, especially because we got revealed that he exists in this
Yeah.
verse now.
And he's the
Um,
whole, I
the
don't, he's like
foundation
the whole,
behind
yeah,
Jujutsu
of
sorcery.
Jujutsu. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
so
I'm of
there's
the
a question
belief right
there.
now that it has something to deal with him.
Yeah. And I mean, and also this huge question there, like, what happens when you remove this guy? Because, his whole reincarnation cycle is
Well,
a
you know
sacred
what? I just
thing.
thought about it. What if he's trying to take over Tengen Sama's body? We know this guy can switch bodies. What if he's trying to take over his body? Because as we all know, Tengen Sama's basically how they say he's a god in this world,
God, yeah.
essentially.
Actually, might be onto something, because I didn't even think about that. That would be crazy. What
Like
was
he's
it?
trying to become the god of the world. Because as they revealed it, as Tengen Sama is the foundation of Jujutsu sorcery. He's basically the god of this world, essentially.
hmm
What other better power struggle besides killing the god of this world and maybe taking his right place for yourself? But why even try and fight the god and killing him when if you could just theoretically take over his body?
Be him, if you could be him.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, we got another Aizen. Oh shit, I didn't even cross my mind. That's what would be his point of doing it? I mean, other than, I guess, being
Just to
all
rule the
powerful.
world. I don't know what else. What other point do what you
I
have
just,
for being? I don't know.
I don't know.
Like I said, I'm just throwing stuff out there because,
No,
like
no,
I
I mean,
said,
no, that's a good.
we just don't know what his goal is. We just know once
Well,
again,
yeah, no,
we
I
just
just,
Gojo needed to be gone.
I just want to take a moment and be like, man, that's crazy to think about. But like, if he gets it, like, what does he do after? Like, that's all I'm wondering. Like, man, the implications, the implications. But yeah, no. So like, we got all that, and then a small part I want to touch on before we get like to the big thing at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe needs jail time. I thought she died. It turns out,
Pause. Do you think? They claim they use Ui's techniques to transport, right? But do we really
oh
think
no,
she's
it's
still alive though?
It's basically no. It's well. I mean, I can only go by what the show shows me, and
You're right.
one.
I know. I'm just saying.
Here's the thing: they did already explain that Mei and her brother had like a binding vow where she could only use his abilities when she gave permission to, and based on how she uses him in battle, I would have assumed that his ability has something to do with teleportation, and she used his ability to get up out of there. We can't fight We can't fight this fake ghetto, and I didn't. I knew she was manipulating her brother in some way because I'm like, this motherfucker is obsessed with her. I didn't know it was, sexual manipulation. That's a no. Two,
Wow.
what's crazy? I didn't realize this in the show, but it was pointed out to me like online that Mei ended up in the place that Nanami wanted to go.
Nanami wanted to go.
I
Yeah,
was like,
I read that as well.
I was like, the parallel one of them both being teachers, but one who would do anything for their students to the point where he legit, like, he didn't even run. How you were saying, like, if I like, he didn't even like try and go back to find like healing help or anything.
Yeah.
Like that. He legit put himself on the line for that. And Mei, who manipulates like the people under her, ended up surviving to make. I was like the JJK writer is a sadistic person because that's just to twist the knife like that is insane.
Yeah, because I thought she was definitely gonna be dead, but like you said, it turns out at least from like you said from what the show showed us that they're still alive.
And made it to a paradise and telling people to sell their stocks and bonds. Get the fuck up out of Japan.
Which is why I'm thinking which is like you said, the connection between Nanami wanted to go to Malaysia. That's just so where she happened to end up, which is make me think, well, is she truly still alive? Maybe like is she really alive?
I can see that thought process, but I think the author was more so trying to sell the fact of home, like how crazy the Jujutsu world is that like this person who, by all accounts, was a great man, did a lot of things, took the utmost care of his students and everything, is basically an unsung hero. His reward for that was death, and Mei, who is like the polar opposite of him,
her reward for it is Malaysia.
Malaysia ended up in the best place. Like I was like, I just think he used that as like a showing point of like, this is how dangerous this world is, and these are the type of people who are in it. Like I think that was like kind of like their point in writing that. You sick person.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, we something we didn't touch up on. I think before we get to like the last tidbit, Mahito didn't get saved. He got absorbed.
Okay, yes, thank you. Even though Mahito did not get saved, I am still upset that I don't think he went out the way he should have. This man needed to be dismantled, bodied, completely evaporated. Which I guess still technically maybe he was. Well, no, he wasn't completely evaporated, but I wanted to see this man destroyed. Like I said, that's why I said last episode, I think Ichidori played with his food. He should have just went and just took his ass out of there. Like, because it's not the same enjoyment from seeing Geto kill Mahito as it would have been Ichidori killing him himself. It's not.
You know, I agree. Someone pointed out online that kick the kick he did when he kicked Mahito had like no curse energy in it, so you knew he would. That was like a sign that he was just legitimately playing with it. Which I somewhat understand the want to do that, because it's like, you caused me so much pain, I'm about to enjoy this, right? But man, the same boat. I really wish he killed him. But it was interesting to me that this sorcerer who's possessed in Geto absorbed Mahito and then used him up almost immediately after, because you see him use Uzumaki.
He used Uzumaki, which, for those who don't know, that's the same technique that Geto used at the end of JJK Zero. I had to make that connection. But he further explains the fake. Well, Kamo, he explains how he thought Uzumaki was essentially useless, because it was like, basically just combining all the conspiracy, all his stock essentially into one, and just doing a big attack. He was like, well, to me that's useless, because that's just getting rid of all my stock. But then he goes to explain, well, he said, but I found out though, if you use Uzumaki on a special grade or higher, now we're talking because now
Because
it
apparently you
actually
inherit-
extracts their curse technique
Mhm.
into the blast as well. So now it's just not only is just a culmination of a big strong ass attack, but it's also this attack is imbued with whatever that curse spirit's technique was.
Yeah.
And then also it seems like maybe the way he was talking, he could absorb the curse technique of the curse if it was a special grade or higher. The way he was talking, it didn't seem like he did that in this case, but just going forward, if we see Fake Ghetto use auto transfiguration, this is how he got it.
He got it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was just so interesting to me. He used him up immediately. I was like, we not gonna say that for a bit, and everybody dodged it too, which was odd. Even also something I want to point out, y'all, the Kyoto students got mad at Mekamaru, but he was right.
Yeah,
they served as a great distraction, but all of them essentially did nothing. The girl,
not a damn thing.
The girl on the broom had a wind scythe move that I've never seen before. I was like, that's cool, but they legitimately
it did legit nothing. She might as well threw a rock at the guy.
What's I can't remember her name. The girl with the sword. She made a binding vow that if her
Miwa
made a vow saying that this better work or I'm never picking up a katana again. It did nothing.
She got straight eyes in the moment right there.
you wasted your fighting prowess.
You wasted your ult. You blew it.
And now you will never be relevant again, unfortunately. The one person who had a good idea was Maki's little sister, Mai, I think.
Fight from afar. Mai, I think that's her name. Yeah.
Use a sniper rifle. And Fake Ghetto even said, he was like, you know what, that's a good idea. Using conventional weapons on sorcerers. I'm just him, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's for you. I'm that guy, is technically, it really is unfortunate for them because now that everybody else is gone, and Ghetto's the strongest in the verse right now. Well, besides, of course, Tengasama, but he's not in the field.
I mean, the only other people I think could rival him are Urume. We just said her name.
Yeah, Urume and potentially Yuta.
Sukuna. Yeah, Yuta, Sukuna, and
of course Sukuna, but I wasn't counting him because he's not like just active all the time.
Now that since we're talking about it, potentially Todo's teacher who just showed up.
And correct me if I'm wrong. That's the other special grade sorcerer, right?
Yeah, I mean, so so from what we know right now, it's Gojo, Ghetto, Yuki, and Yuta, and then there's a third year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's a third year at Jujutsu High who is a special grade, but we have not been introduced to them.
Yeah, I think, and didn't Itadori get classified as one because of Sukuna at the beginning?
He said Itadori's not, because he was taking the exam to become a grade 1.
I know, but I could have sworn they classified, or maybe they classified the curse in him as a special grade. I think that's what it was.
I was about to say the curse in him, yes, but him himself, I believe Gojo said he has a potential to become a special grade once he learns how to use Sukuna's cleave and dissect. So,
which is
cleave and dismantle.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that back up because I completely forgot that Gojo did say that if you actually worked on it, one day you would be able to use Sukuna's techniques. I've completely forgot that was a thing. So there's Itadori's power right there that I've been asking for. I forgot about that.
And I'll lob this one up to you, Ace. It works perfectly with your Black Flash theory because now Itadori can use.
It does. I didn't even think about that. It does. It's lining up because if he does end up getting mental in this cleave, more than likely, and if I truly think the way this mental in the cleave is like many Black Flashes, truly the way to master it is, we all know, because Itadori can do Black Flashes on command, at least
on command now,
to a certain extent now. Maybe he probably can't just like pull it back out whenever he wants just yet, maybe, but he's getting there essentially. Damn, I didn't. The theory grows stronger every day.
I was like, I'm sorry, people. I had to reinforce it just a bit because I was like, you know what? I was like, it was lining up too perfectly.
The theory grows stronger every day.
But before we close, I just wanted to ask you: do you think that Yuki is going to be enough to get the guys out of this? Because she's a special grade, but we've never seen her technique.
What are we defining as enough? Because once again, I've already accepted the fact that however this final episode ends, it's still probably not going to be the best end in the world. Because it's still already not, because we have lost so many people.
Well, so, I'm just saying enough to get them out of this, because I don't think I personally don't think, while Choso, again, pay these animators whatever give them whatever they want, because the fight between Choso and Geto, great. That was beautifully done.
Yes, I think we get out of this simply because I think in terms of just like storytelling, like pushing forward to the next arc or whatever, I think, well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody else, but I think I know what the next arc is. Just because I've been spoiled. But and in pushing forward into the next arc, I think Geto will probably need time to, well, hell, if he even survive, which I'm pretty sure he probably will because of all the big reveals. I don't think you'll just do all those big reveals and then just kill him off in the last episode of the season.
Yeah, that's why I was like, does Yuki is she the key of getting everybody out of this unscathed?
Yeah, so I'm pretty maybe not unscathed, but I think ultimately, yes, Yuki's gonna help us ended up escaping. Also, simply because I think, like I said, Kamo or the fake Geto, whatever he does have planned next, he's gonna need time to set that up.
Mm-hmm. I just want to point out how funny it is. Everybody's been asking for Yuta to show up, and we got a different special grade.
I think you know what, Yuta, you failed me, Yuta. You failed me. Whenever you do pop up, I want to hear a good ass excuse on why the fuck your ass wasn't in Shibuya. It better be an immaculate excuse. I'm talking about I was saving the whole country of Africa from this special grade curse user. It was. I'm talking about it was the Ebona special curse out here taking out motherfuckers, right? Like I'm talking. I need
not Ebola.
I need a good ass excuse.
That's hilarious. Not the Ebola curse, Jesus,
man.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see what we get from this last episode, and I hope whenever Yuta does pop up, he got a good ass excuse, because we needed you. Oh man, but
it's okay. Somebody else did your job for you. It's all right.
I can't wait to see what Yuki does this next episode. I am really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, especially because it's the finale. Then, like you mentioned earlier, it's another special grade user, so she gotta have
mm-hmm.
she gotta have some shit up her sleeve. I'm definitely ready to see what she do, especially because it looked like she had I'm gonna call it a familiar for right now. Oh, it's probably just a cursed spirit. So yeah, a cursed spirit, some type of draconic cursed spirit around her. So that's interesting.
And also, just as a reminder, she is Toto's master, so you know how much a fool he is.
Yeah, but I was just about to say, you know how much a fool he is. Yes, and as you just said, that is Toto's master, and Toto is a beast. So if Toto is a beast, I can only imagine what the master of that beast looks like.
Exactly. I mean that, and also I can only imagine what fool because the first thing she did when she popped up, she said, "Hey, Geto, can you answer that question for me? I asked you all those years ago about the type." I'm like,
and then he also looked kind of concerned, like when he pulled up, because he was like, he had that look on the, that look that people do when a strong opponent pull up. He was like Yuki, like, oh, like okay,
yeah. He also he also looked like, dang, like I was almost scot free, and then she show up. So yeah, only time, next episode looking real good.
Yeah, it's looking real good. It's looking the finale. So definitely. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably, of course, it'll be that in our winter 2024 watch list next episode. So yeah.
Yeah.
Are we on? Are we going on break next week for JJK? Well, this week technically.
No, I believe the last episode comes out.
It's going to come out. Okay, so they're not going to go on break. They're just going to go ahead and finish it off. All right.
As far as I know, from when I looked up, it is still scheduled to come out this Christmas week. So
okay, yeah, because I know One Piece was going on break this week. Okay.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that, guys. But with all that being said, we'll go ahead and get us on out of here. So as always, appreciate you all for watching / listening. If you want to stay up to date on all things about the council, please follow us on our social media. That is at Gurren Otakus on Twitter and at Gurren Otaku Council everywhere else. As a reminder, we're on the road to 100, so all those that are listening to us, whether it be watching us on YouTube or listening to us from a podcast app, please go over to YouTube, hit that subscribe bell. We really appreciate it, as well as leaving a like, a follow on any or whatever you're on. We really we greatly appreciate it, and be sure to share us with your friends and family. We appreciate the support to help us grow, all that jazz. But with all that being said, people, have a wonderful holiday. Continue to enjoy time with your family and everything, as well as continue to enjoy anime. Because, like I said, this Christmas week ain't stopping the train. So be sure to continue to be out there, still looking forward to the new shows. But this is Gurren Otaku Council saying, meeting adjourned. Peace out, everybody.